Yes, okay. And each presenter have a total of 10 minutes of the presentation, included the Q&A season. The presenters are suggested to turn the camera on during the season, and all presenters have to fill the attendance list before we start the session. The attendance list link can be seen in the chat columns. In the Q&A session, if the participants have questions for the presenters, you may click the raise hand icon in your Zoom or write the question in the column, and I will choose the live questioners and read the question after the presentations. So let me know for the first speakers today. Is Mr. Severino J. Alfiento? Are you there? Mr. Alfiento? No? Okay, I couldn't find him. So we move to Cheris Anthony G. Mr. Cheris Anthony G.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. You sent us 2 papers, right?
Yes, po, ma'am.
Yeah, so you can present the first both of them or just one paper?
Um, since ma'am, my co-researcher for first research, ma'am, which is the significance of
Membership?
membership of two.
Membership in
Yes, ma'am.
campus organizations. Oh, yeah.
Is on travel right now, ma'am. But I sent
Oh,
yes, she's on travel right now, ma'am. But I am very much willing to answer if there are queries regarding the study, ma'am. But I
oh,
have
yeah.
sent, yes, ma'am. I sent the 2 videos, ma'am, via
Yeah.
email po, ma'am.
But we just find the stages of salt industry, right, Mister? The video you sent to us?
Yes, ma'am. I, but you haven't received that significance, ma'am?
No, I just received the status of salt industry, I guess.
Okay, ma'am.
Yep.
Wait for a minute, ma'am, and I'll check if I have the PowerPoint presentation for the significance, ma'am, and I will just present it right now, ma'am.
Yeah. Or maybe Mr. Anthony, we can start for the second paper
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you sent the video about status of salt industry. Can you
Yes, ma'am.
start it?
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
please
Thank
start
you
the
very much, ma'am.
video, number 3. All the participants and also presenters, please welcome Mr. Jairus Anthony Geophologist that would be present the title with status of salt industry, and he sent us the video. So please give him your participation. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am tasked to present to you our research study entitled Salt Industry in the Northern Philippines. The researchers are as follows: Jairus Anthony G. Vallejas, Marife D. Alviento, and Trisha L. Kundra. Salt making has been one of the sources of income of most families living along coastal areas. They actually inherit it from their ancestors. This type of livelihood requires individuals to be hardworking as it makes them carry pails of waters and sun which will be used in making the salt. As the oldest forms of livelihood in Kalumbuyan, Candon City, Ilocos Sur, Philippines, they produce salt from seawater through natural process of solar evaporation. The process of salt production starts by drenching the sun with seawater, after which the salt farmers sprinkle with seawater every morning of 4 to 5 days. Sun evaporates the water, leaving a structure that is ready for first harvest or apaya. The harvested apaya will then be placed on a wooden box called kalungkong. They water the apaya in the kalungkong with seawater to filter its saltiness. The filtered water will be then cooked in an anawa, a specialized salt production equipment, for about 6 to 8 hours until it is ready for the second harvest, which is the salt. The salt is not being washed nor refined, but is put on a sop in its natural form without taking out or adding other nutrients. However, this type of livelihood is seasonal, meaning to say that they could only produce during summer as it requires heat coming from the sun in order to produce salt. As of now, in this locality, there are still no machineries or technologies that the salt makers could use to lighten their work. Hence, this study is conducted to determine the status of the salt industry in Calumbuyan, Candon City, Ilocos Sur, where the respondents are the salt farmers in the said barangay. For our statement of the problem, this study aimed to find out the status of the salt industry of Calumbuyan, Candon City, Ilocos Sur. Specifically, it sought to answer the following questions. Number 1, what is the profile of the respondents of Calumbuyan, Candon City, Ilocos Sur in terms of age, sex, highest educational attainment, number of children, religion, average monthly income, number of years in salt industry? Number 2, what is the status of the salt industry in Calumbuyan, Candon City as perceived by the salt farmer respondents along production, marketing, support to industry, and training and seminars attended? Number 3, is there a significant relationship between the profile of the respondents and their perception to the status of salt industry in Barangay Calumbuyan, Candon City? Number 4, what are the challenges encountered by the salt farmer respondents in relation to salt industry? And number 5, what are the coping mechanisms of the salt farmer respondents in Calumbuyan, Candon City for survival during the pandemic? For our methodology, this study is a mixed quantitative and qualitative type of research. It made use of descriptive correlational and a phenomenological method of research. The researchers correlate the profile of the respondents with their perception to the status of salt industry in Calumbuyan, Candon City, Ilocos Sur. They also interviewed the salt farmers for more information and additional details. Descriptive correlational and phenomenological method of research is most appropriate in this study, for it seeks to determine the status of salt industry in Calumbuyan, Candon City. This study was conducted in Calumbuyan, Candon City, Ilocos Sur. All salt farmers on the said barangay are taken as the total enumeration through purposive sampling. It is composed of 15 existing salt farmers. In this study, the main instrument used to gather data was a questionnaire and face-to-face interview. It is composed of 2 parts. The first part focused on the personal background of the respondents, such as age, sex, highest educational attainment, number of children, religion, average monthly income, and number of years in the industry. The second part focused on the status of the salt industry in Calumbuyan, Candon City, Ilocos Sur. The following statistical tools were used to treat and analyze the data gathered. Number 1, frequency count and percentage. This was used to treat the gathered data in terms of the profile of the respondents. Number 2, t-test for correlation. This was used to determine the relationship of the profile of the respondents and their perception on the status of salt industry at Barangay Kalumbuyan, Candon City, Ilocos Sur. 3. The mean. This was used to treat the gathered data in terms of perception of the respondents to the status of salt industry at Barangay Kalumbuyan, Candon City, Ilocos Sur. For our results and discussion, majority of the salt farmer respondents belong to age 41 to 50 years old, which is composed of 8 or 53% of the total population, while there is only one salt farmer respondent who belong to the age range to 71 to 80 years old. Female salt farmer respondents are 8 or 53%, while 7 or 47% is male. Meanwhile, as seen in the table, out of 15 respondents, 5 salt farmer respondents answered that they are elementary graduate, and also 5 are high school undergraduate. None of the respondents reached college. Furthermore, most of the salt farmer respondents have 3 to 5 children, which compose of 9 or 60% of the total population. Results also shows that majority of the salt farmer respondents are gaining 5,000 peso below in the industry, meaning to say that they have low income when it comes to producing and marketing of salt. It is also presented in the table that the average monthly income of the salt farmers of Kalumbuyan, Candon City does not exceed 10,000. This finding implies that the income in salt production is not enough for the family's needs, so salt farmers need to look for other sources of income. Lastly, it is shown in the table that most of the respondents are in the average 10 to 19 years in the salt industry, which compose of 5 or 33.33% of the entire salt farmer population, while there is a respondent who is already 60 to 70 years working on the said industry, meaning to say that ever since they are young, they already learned this form of livelihood. Results and discussion for statement of the problem number 2, along production. The salt farmer respondents perceive that they strongly disagree that the city government provide an up-to-date machineries and salt-making instrument designed for salt production. Moreover, they also strongly disagree that they store the product in a clay jar. The salt farmer respondents disagree that the city government provides supplies and materials needed in salt production. Furthermore, the salt farmer respondents strongly disagree that they have enough financial resources in the production of salt. However, the salt farmer respondents strongly disagree that they were still incorporating the traditional way of producing salt. For our recommendation, the government should provide machineries, supplies, and materials needed by salt farmers for their salt production. Results and discussion along marketing. The salt farmer respondents strongly agree that the price of salt increased due to high demand. They strongly agree that their production is limited due to pandemic protocols. The salt farmer respondents agree that there is advertisement of salt products. They also strongly agree that there are price promotions in marketing the salt products. Lastly, the salt farmers agree that trainings and workshop is readily available for marketing strategy. With competition aimed at getting consumers' attention, advertisers use a variety of media to communicate information about their products. Far-reaching advertising methods that include traditional media along with newer internet-based methods such as direct mail, electronic communication, and nutritional labeling that serves to spread information. For our recommendation, the local government unit must provide assistance in trading salt products. Along support to the industry, the salt farmer respondents disagree that government agencies like Department of Science and Technology provides financial assistance to salt farmers. They further disagree that the local government unit provide additional capital to salt farmers. Moreover, the salt farmers strongly disagree that the local government unit provided assistance to the trading of salt. They disagree that there is contingency of fund that is readily available from the local government unit. The salt farmers strongly agree that price is determined according to its demand. For our recommendation, the government agencies should provide financial assistance and resources to salt farmers for the production of salt. Along trainings and seminars attended, the salt farmer respondents strongly disagree that they attended seminars and trainings on packaging and labeling, supply chain analysis and branding. They further disagree that they attended trainings on value chain analysis. However, the salt farmers agree that they attended trainings on production and operation. For our recommendation, trainings and seminars on branding, supply chain analysis, and value chain analysis should be conducted for the salt farmers. Results and discussion under statement of the problem number 3. It is shown on the table that sex of the respondents have a significant relationship with their perception regarding the status of salt industry along production. It means that female salt farmers are more concerned that the salt industry will disappear rather than male salt farmers. Maybe it is because males have other sources of income such as fishing, farming, construction compared to female who only depends on salt farming. Moreover, the table also shows that there in terms of marketing, highest educational attainment of the salt farmer respondents has a significant relationship with the status of salt industry in Calumbuyan, Candon City. It can be assumed that those who have higher educational attainment can sell their product more than those of lower educational attainment. They are more knowledgeable with strategies they could use to market their products. For the statement of problem number 4, challenges encountered by salt farmers. Weather condition had been a very important factor in the production of salt. Salt farmers said they are highly vulnerable to erratic weather patterns because their farms were dependent on solar evaporation. Their traditional way of producing salt. Sudden rains during dry season badly affected their farms because it dissolves the apaya, which they use in producing salt. Meanwhile, the lack of machineries is also a challenge to salt farmers. Approximately, they can only produce 1 to 2 sacks of salt in a day because it takes 6 to 8 hours for one harvest, which is only less than 1 sack of salt. The process of salt production is also difficult and it requires strength and good body condition. During this pandemic, maintaining good health is also a challenge to the salt farmers, especially that they are already adults and they are more prone to virus. If one of their family members were already experiencing some of the symptoms of COVID-19, such as flu, sore throat, and cough, they can easily get infected with similar symptoms, which causes them to feel weak and unable to produce salt. So, they are challenged to save and maintain good health conditions in order to continue their production of salt. For statement of the problem number 5, coping mechanisms of salt farmers during pandemic. Results shows that upon stopping their production of salt in order to provide their family needs, the salt farmers look for other sources of income, such as fishing, farming, and construction works for male respondents, and selling of fish for female respondents. In order also to continue their production of salt, the salt farmers said they have to take care of their health. They eat healthy foods and drink medicine if they have already experienced headache, cough, and sore throat. Carrying heavy pails of water also serves as their daily morning exercises. They said that they feel weaker if they sit all day without doing anything. So even if they are not feeling well, they keep on working as long as they have taken medicine. For our conclusion, based on the findings of this study, the following conclusions were drawn. Most of the salt farmers are ages 41 to 50. There are more female respondents than males. Out of 15 respondents, 5 are elementary graduates and 5 reach high school level. Many of the respondents have 3 to 5 children. Many belong to the bracket of 5,000 and below average monthly income. Majority of the salt farmer respondents are in the range of 10 to 19 years in the salt industry. The status of salt industry as perceived by the respondents along production, salt farmers don't receive any machineries or equipment coming from the city government. Along marketing, the salt farmers produce a lesser amount of salt due to pandemic protocols. Along support to the industry, respondents disagreed about receiving support from the government. Along trainings and seminars attended, salt farmer respondents have only attended seminars and trainings on an alternate way of producing salt other than the traditional way which they are currently using. There is no significant relationship between the profile of the respondents and their perception to the salt industry in the said barangay. Majority of the salt farmers said that they stopped their production because they produce huge amount of salt before pandemic. However, they were not able to market it due to sudden implementation of pandemic protocols. Weather conditions is also a big challenge for them because it could affect their production, especially sudden rains. They also need to maintain their good health conditions so that they have strength through the process of production. Lastly, lack of machineries which they could use to lighten up their work also challenges the salt farmers, especially during pandemic. In order to support their family needs, the salt farmers look for other sources of income such as fishing, farming, construction works, and selling of fish. Machineries for salt production could lighten up their work, but they lack of it, so they depend on the traditional equipment they have, such as the kalungkong and anawang. They also maintain their good health conditions by taking medicines every time they are not feeling well. Carrying of pails of water every morning also serves as their daily exercise. That will be all, and good afternoon once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Mr. Anthony for this comprehensive explanation about your research. And to other presenters and participants, please give Mr. Anthony questions, maybe? If any of you? Not yet. I see this. The question is the chat column is no question to Mr. Anthony, but maybe I will ask you something. It's okay?
Yes, ma'am. My
Yes,
pleasure, ma'am.
okay. So my question is how you determine the number of respondents. I see that the number of respondent is 11.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so how you determine the number of respondent?
Before the conduct of the study, ma'am, we had the preliminary, which we conducted a survey in the specific areas
Mr. Anthony, I'm sorry, I can't hear your voice. Maybe because of the connection.
in our
Okay.
city, and we identified that there. Oh, sorry, ma'am. Ma'am. I will just check my internet connection, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. For a
Yes.
while.
So the other presenters and participants, you may give the questions to the presenters. Yeah. Yes, there's questions. I'm really happy. But before I read the questions, maybe Mr. Anthony can answer my question first. Thank you very much, Ma'am Iya Mariati, for the questions. For my students, the participants, you also can ask our presenters maybe something you want to know. So you have to give the attention to the presenter because this is my class too. Welcome, Miss Tanya Parayuga.
I'm so sorry for that, ma'am. Ma'am, can you
It's
hear
okay,
me
Mr.
now,
Anthony.
ma'am?
Yes, please continue your answer, Mr.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, I can hear your voice. It's clear.
Okay, ma'am.
Yep.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, to answer with your question, ma'am, at
Yes.
first we conducted a survey to identify the actual number of the salt farmers, and we identified 11 existing. Some are not, they don't have the place to cook anymore. That's why we don't consider them. However, we interviewed them individually, ma'am.
So 11 is all the population at the salt
Yes, ma'am.
industry, right? Oh yeah, it's clear,
Yes,
Mister.
ma'am.
So we move to the question in the chat column, right? Mr. Anthony, it's okay?
Uh, it's okay, ma'am. Thank you very much.
This question is from Iyamariati. Did you find
Yes.
a new theory from your research that can be applied in everyday life?
Mm, theory. The We identified some theories, basically the marketing theories that can be applied since we identified the different problems encountered by our salt farmers in our city. Then the response to their need is basically trying to help them to gather new theories, focusing on the marketing side now.
Okay, thank you very much. To Ma'am Iyamariati, it's clear, right? It's enough, or
Welcome.
maybe another questions?
Thanks, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So to all of the
Thank you
presenter
very
and
much, ma'am.
participants, we would like to say thank you very much for your presentation. A comprehensive explanation, Mr. Chairus Anthony J. Feliges. Thank you very much. So we can move to other presenters. But
Thank you very
before I
much, ma'am.
will remind to all of the presenters, please fill the attendance list by clicking this link below. The link is on your chat column. You can see that, right? So please don't
Yes, ma'am.
forget to fill the attendance list. Okay, so we move to another presenters. I would like to see first.
Ma'am, will it be okay if I'm going to present the significance, ma'am? I have
It's okay.
searched the.
It's okay.
Okay.
So you ready to
I will.
present?
Yes, ma'am. I will
Yes.
share my
Okay.
screen, ma'am.
Okay, please. Time is
Thank
yours.
you, ma'am. Is my presentation visible, ma'am?
Yeah, it is visible.
Thank you very much. Um, Good morning to each and everyone. I am tasked to present to you our another research study, which is entitled "Significance of Membership in Campus Organizations." My co-researcher is Ma'am Marifedi Alviento, who is now on leave now. For our introduction, for a while now. The student government is a group of officers elected by the student body with a faculty member as advisor. It acts as a channel of communication between the administrators of the institution and the students. It takes part in the regulation of educational, disciplinary, and extracurricular activities, as well as listens to the grievances of students. As the supreme student body in the college, it deals with the organization and regulation of student activities, academic curricula, and discipline, among others. It provides student services such as counseling and student support networks. Here in our institution at North Luzon Philippine State College, there are two types of organization, the mandated and accredited student organizations. The mandated student organizations are from the three colleges. On the other hand, the accredited student organizations are usually advocacy groups organized by the students like the environmental group, fraternity, and sorority, among others. The student government of North Luzon Philippine State College serves as the umbrella organization of all the departmental student organizations which are operating within the campus. The creation of the student government is imperative to the need of the students to have an avenue of keeping a closer and a more harmonious relationship with the school administration. The student government establishes the prompt role of ushering the voice of the student constituents into the hearing faculties of the school authorities, thereby handling the noble responsibilities of working for the welfare of the entire students. After all, the school as a purveyor of human knowledge is institutionalized in order to provide the students with the needed services for their holistic development. It is for this reason that NLPSC envisions its students as effective partners in realizing our vision, mission, goals, and objectives, along with the attainment of worthwhile lives in the community which she is part. For our statement of the problem, first, what is the profile of the student respondents in organization in terms of sex, place of residence, and religion? Number two, what is the level of significance of membership of students of NLPSC in campus organizations along interpersonal relationship, academic performance, personality development, and values formation? And number three, is there significant relationship between the profile of the student respondents and their perception the students' significance of membership in campus organizations? For our methodology, this study made use of descriptive method of research with the questionnaire as the chief tool in gathering the data. The instrument used was adapted from the study of Garlejo et al., but with modifications. The respondents of this study were the fourth-year students of North Luzon Philippine State College from the different departments of business administration, office administration, political science, computer science, and criminology. There are 550 total population combined from the five courses mentioned above, and the researcher considered 30% as sample from each course as per suggestion by our statistician. For the data gathering instrument, the questionnaire served as the main instrument of data gathering. It composed of the following: Part 1 dealt with the profile of the respondents, and Part 2 dealt with the significance that explained to the student respondents as having a great influence or effect to their interpersonal relationship, academic performance, personality development, and values formation. We use three statistical treatment. First is the frequency count and percentage. Two is min, and the last is the Pearson product moment of correlation. For our results and discussion, result shows that most of the respondents are males with a 91 or 55.83%, and 72 or 44.17% are females. It further indicates that male student respondents are dominant to female. Almost all of the respondents reside outside Candon City with 98 or 60.12%, and only 65 or 39.88% of the student respondents are residents of Candon City. It further implies that most of the respondents reside outside Candon City, and only 7 or 7.29% student respondents are officers of student government. 89 or 92.71 are members of mandated organizations. For interpersonal relationship, the findings implies that the respondents have developed a strong, deep, or close association or acquaintance between two or more people that may range in duration from brief to enduring. We recommend that the respondent should take the opportunity of their membership in campus organizations to become effective leaders and organizers in the class. This may be done by focusing all in their studies and actively participates in classroom activities. For academic performance, the student respondents perceive that there is a satisfactory level of significance of their membership in campus organizations along academic performance. This implies that the membership in campus organization affects positive results in relations to the academic performance of the student respondents. We recommend that there should be activities or programs in campus organizations where understanding human behavior develops objectively and where personal discipline will give importance to every student. This may be done through the conduct of a symposia or seminars and invite well-versed speakers on the subject matter. Along personality development, the student respondents perceive that there is a satisfactory level of significance of their membership in campus organizations along personality development. This implies that the respondents' membership in campus organization somehow help them organize patterns of their behavior and make them unique as individuals. Hence, we recommend that the school administration should support the campus organization's programs and activities and be part of the students' advocacy and help them to become very productive individuals and mold them as a future leader of the country. And last, for the values formation, the student respondents perceive that there is a satisfactory level of significance of their membership in campus organizations. This implies that membership in campus organization influence the values formation of the respondents, particularly in helping them develop their better awareness of the opinions of others and contributing to the understanding of strong demands as a student. The college shall continue to conduct training seminars that uplift their knowledge. Understatement of the problem number 3 under correlation, it could be seen in the table that the variable sex has a computed value of 16.50, which is greater than the tabular value of 1.658 at 0.05 level of significance. This means that the null hypothesis is rejected, and therefore sex is significantly related to their membership in campus organization as a whole, whether male or female. From the same table, it could be seen that the variable place of residence has a computed t-value of 31.29, which is greater than the tabular value of 1.658 at 0.05 level of significance. This means that the null hypothesis is rejected, and therefore, place of residence of the respondents is significantly related to their membership in campus organization as a whole, while most of the respondents are residents outside Candon City. For our conclusion, based on the findings of the study, the following conclusions were drawn. Majority of the student respondents are male and are residents outside Candon City. The respondents have developed a strong dip or close association or acquaintance between two or more people that may range in duration from brief to enduring.
So the connection from Mr. Anthony isn't like again. So please be patient to all the presenters and participants waiting for Mr. Anthony to fix his connection. While we waiting for him, maybe yeah, welcome, Mr. Anthony. You're back.
So sorry about yes.
It's okay.
Mom, yes, my screen.
It's okay. You
Sorry, my
almost finished
internet
your
connection.
presentation. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's
Okay,
continue.
ma'am. Academic performance, personality development, and values formation. And that will be all. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, Mr. Anthony. To the other presenters, maybe some questions, please?
Because
Not yet.
our our city is being hit by an earthquake. That's why our internet connection is not that good
Terrible.
now, ma'am.
Yeah, it's okay, Mr.
Because
Anthony.
of the sudden
But maybe
earthquake that happened just recently, ma'am.
it's okay. So, because there's no question for other presenters and participants, the questions would be going to, yes, I see the questions. Nah. Congrats, sir, from the participant number 9. It will be Jeremy Chisan says, I guess. What do your finding invalidate po? What do your finding invalidate?
Invalid. I think, ma'am, the main
Okay, we're waiting again for Mr. Anthony.
to be part in a campus organization so that in all aspects of a development, holistic development of the students, they will experience it, ma'am. Because as our main goal in the academy is to provide them not just the quality education that they have, but also to provide them a well-equipped skills that they will execute and needed in after graduation, ma'am, or in the real life.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer, Mr. Anthony. But
Thank
maybe
you.
I want to ask you one question more. It's okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So how you validate and verify your questionnaire? Maybe you have the methodology to validate and verify your questionnaire. Is it?
Okay. We validated our questionnaire, ma'am, based from our experts. One from the academy, one in the director for student affairs and services, and one is from our guidance counselor, ma'am. And the other one, ma'am, is the director for quality assurance, ma'am.
So the questionnaire is generate from previous research, and it would be
Lifted,
modified,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Anthony. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your
Yes, you're
understanding and your time.
welcome. Okay, so for our presenters and participants, we are going to move to another presenters. But first, I want to see who is the presenters here. Another presenters. Oh, maybe the presentation will be going to Miss Tanya Barayuga. Are you there? Hello, ma'am. Okay, there's no voice here. The presenter number 9, it would be Mr. Jeremy G. Sanchez. Are you there, mister?
Yes,
Yes,
use the background. I'm using my cell phone at the moment.
it's okay. Mr. Sanchez, maybe you can turn on your camera so I can see you.
Yes, actually, my camera's already turned on, ma'am. But
Yeah.
I think the
Connection.
your
Yeah,
your internet connectivity is poor in our campus, ma'am. I'm sorry for that.
it's okay, mister. So you ready to present your paper?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I sent my pre-recorded presentation in the Google form.
In the Google form, but I cannot find. But
Yes,
wait,
ma'am.
I will see first. Take a minute, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Mr. Sanchez, but I couldn't find your video here. You sent in room H, right? There's no your videos. I couldn't find it.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
I sent my pre-recorded presentation last night po.
last
The
night
file
in
name is the file name is ISPSC underscore course module. I sent it through the link that was sent in WhatsApp po, ma'am.
what was up? So wait, I will ask to the committee first. Mr. Sanchez, hello. Or maybe you can play your video from your
Uh,
handphone or
it as
maybe
much
laptop.
as it as much as I wanted, ma'am, but the connection in our campus is very
Oh,
poor.
it's okay. But maybe we can skip
Yes.
you first while
Uh,
waiting the answer from the committee about your video.
yes po. Thank you so
Okay,
much po.
thank you very much. Okay, so we can skip Mr. Jeremy J. Sanchez while we are waiting for the confirmation from committee. And here we have Ma'am Ia Mariati. Hello, Mrs. Mariati. Are you there?
Yes, Miss. Here.
Yes. So are you ready to present your paper?
Yes.
Thank you very much. The time is yours, Miss.
Thanks, Miss Vidya. Everyone, good morning. I'm very happy and join in here. Excuse me, I permission to share script. Miss, everyone can
Yeah,
see my
it's
script.
visible. Yes, it's
Yeah.
visible.
Yes, thank you. Again, this is my title of article, Model-Based Learning Management System Application in the Development of Interactive Digital Module in Description Statistics course. Background and purpose. Education in higher education has a great responsibility for the process of achieving educational goal. Therefore, universities must be able to adapt to technological development in the era of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. One of the causes of low digital literacy skill is that teachers do not use learning media to support the learning process, according to Octaviani 2022 and Sudarti and Liberma 2021. And purpose of article to analysis of the learning management system application with the model platform in the development of interactive digital model in the descriptive statistic course. Okay, the method, the type of research used in research and development or R&D in education. The subject 26 students at Institut Pendidikan Indonesia, and the data collection instrument include validity test sheet, practicality test sheet, and student response sheets. Result and discussion. The result of observation and interview show that the statistical learning process with conventional method has many shortcomings, including the learning methods tend to use the lecture method more so that the application of statistics in the form of practice is very less. There is no storage media for lecture history so that students can repeat the data processing material that has been learned, have been studied, and the duration of time in class is limited so that sometimes learning outcome and material are not met. In addition, the COVID-19 pandemic condition also resulted in the application of conventional methods being considered inappropriate. This result part of procurement analysis. And second stage is design stage. At this stage, the feature used in the development of this module also design such as the implementation of the label feature, the study attendee list feature, the feature for displaying PDF or PPT file, the quiz feature, the discussion forum feature. And this application can be seat lecturer.institut pendidikan. Okay, this is figure or figure 2 quiz feature, and figure 3 discussion forum feature, figure 4 other activity feature, and figure 5 resources. This is a stage of development. And then validation ratio of learning media expert efficiency show 89% for content, 90%, and flexibility 90%. And validity ratio of learning media expert for presentation 90%, for content 89%, and language 90%. This is part of stage implementation. Table 1 shows student group validation ratio, and for result is very good. And the last stage, evaluation stage, the result of the survey conduct to group of student and lecturer who teach applied statistics course state that statistics course package and the form of interactive digital module are very practical to use with an achievement rate up to 89.33%. In conclusion, the development of the next interactive digital module is recommended to maximize the feature contained in the model-based LMS application so that learning process is more effective. Okay, finally, thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much to Ms. Iya Mariati for your presentation, for your comprehensive presentation. Maybe to another presenters and participant, is there any question? So it is talking about so it is talking about the modeling finished state automata to find source path. What is the source path, ma'am? I didn't get the point. Please, maybe you can re-explain it.
Me can repeat your question.
So maybe you can explain to me and to the other attendants here what the meaning of sorter's path in your research. Sorter's path about what? A sorter's path to find something in the LMS? Or another explanation maybe?
Okay.
Yes.
So, but I'm not.
You don't understand the
question.
questions, right? You do not understand my question, Mr. Iam? So I mean, your research is about state automata to find shortest path. I mean, what is the shortest path? Is it a time to find something in LMS or maybe other explanation for your research? Because I can get it from your presentation.
Yeah. In this LMS is very effective for efficacy in my learning, in my teaching and learning, but oh, I'm sorry, I'm off camera for my signal not stable, Miss.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay, Mister.
Sorry. My application LMS is effective for application in my learning and teaching, but my student have some trouble for signal, for time is not the same.
Yep.
I think
you think that's the answer, right, ma'am? Okay, thank you very much for Mrs. Yamariati for the presentation and for your answer. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Miss.
Yes.
I'm sorry
Okay.
this signal
It's okay,
not
ma'am. It's
stable.
okay. It's a common problem to this kind of a meeting with this online meeting, right? So we move to another presenters. I see in this participant there is Mrs. Tanya Barayuga. Are you there, Miss?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and you send your recorded presentation to us, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we would like to play the recorded presentation from Miss Tanya Barayuga, and it's about hermeneutical phenomenological study of authentic learning among education students.
Good morning, everyone. My title is Hermeneutical Phenomenological Study of Authentic Learning Among Education Students. At present, the approach to many students was only as a result of surface learning, simply because what is taught is only limited through textbooks, lecture notes, and other reference materials. This is contested by Lombardi 2007 that the most appropriate way of learning should be maximized through experience. That is why this aligns with the notion of authentic learning, where learning requires the transformation of textbooks into a reinterpreted precept among educators, a live form of learning. As we go through the methodology that was already imprinted in the introduction, the research argues the employability of Gadamer's hermeneutic phenomenology to recontextualize authentic learning. In line with the former, this pushes through with the main problem of the study as to how can authentic learning transpire among education students of ISPSC Santa Maria campus in post-pandemic and beyond. As regards to the methodology, as what was already stated in the introduction, it employs the qualitative hermeneutic phenomenology of Gadamer. The participants were 18 to 21 years old, of College of Teacher Education for the second semester of school year 2021-2022. Thematic analysis was used throughout the study, while a semi-structured interview was used to collect the participants' responses. And also, ethical considerations was done by the researcher before and during and after the interview. As regards to the results in discussion, 3 themes was actually drawn by the researcher. Transcending the things themselves, a positive inquiry to the 4 meanings. At first, there is the problem of the unfamiliarity with the authenticity of learning. That is actually done through the interview. But when an in-depth interview took place between the participant and the researcher, their biases were eliminated. The second theme is going in between a space for restricted understanding. So this means that the participant and the researcher actually has this connection. That is, the researcher has put the shoe to the participant's response, that is, especially in their experience of authentic learning. The third is elevating the participant's view the existence of a meaningful application. That is, there is a coordination of sense, experience, and reason that makes them familiarize themselves with authentic learning, which debunks the notion that there is no connection between reason and experience, because as what was stated earlier, experience is actually the best teacher. Here is actually what can be drawn from this study. First is symbolic encounter, the presumption that there will be a one-directional form of learning, but as you can see from the results in discussion, there is no one-directional form of learning, but actually two-directional from the participant, which is actually the student, and the researcher, and a prior structure of human consciousness, the process of perceiving the sorrow or the experience of another, which is actually the participant, even without transforming oneself to him or her, and the coordination of theory and practice, where there is the real-life application of learning that is not only limited to the delivery of information, but also the integration of proper values towards the students. So, the study, lastly, recommends the possibility to other specific steps of hermeneutic phenomenology aside from what is mentioned from this study. This includes the integration of other emerging hermeneutes aside from Gadamer in this generation to adopt a more interdisciplinary understanding of authentic learning, which like Heidegger and the like. This opens also the floor for future researches of appropriate feedback mechanisms. Thank you for listening. That ends my discussion.
Thank you very much for your recorded presentation, Miss Barayuga. So for other presenters and participants, maybe there is some questions. There are some questions. No? So Miss Barayuga, you should be from education department.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah, okay. So what English education or other? No,
Yes, ma'am.
English education. Oh, maybe the question would be going to from me. In your conclusion, you said that when we teach as a lecturer or as a teachers, it's not only have to deliver the materials, but it should be integration the proper values. So my question is, what is the most important values that have to be delivered from us as a teachers, as a lecturer, based on your
I,
research? Thank you.
ba- Based on my research, ma'am, the most important value would be, like what I've stated a while back, is to transpose ourselves into the perspective of the student. Since in that sense, you can actually sense already what they actually felt. Since when we speak about academics only, it's just purely the exertion of the students per se, that is
Yep.
only being seen. But in my part, we should also think about their experience as well, or their qualms or the problems or the sentiments.
Oh yeah, so we have to know their feeling, like their experience, like what they want to do, their emotion too. Yeah, Miss Barayuga. Okay, thank you very much for your answer and your question and your
Thank you
presentations.
po.
Thank you, po.
Thank you.
So
Thank you po.
you're welcome, po. So we're going to maybe our last presenter, Mr. Sanchez. Are you there? Are you still there, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we would like to play your recorded presentation. Please welcome Mr. Jeremy J. Sanchez with the title Course Module in Teaching Social Studies in the Intermediate Grades, its Development, Validation, and Effectiveness.
Good day. This is Jeremy Sanchez of Ilocos Sur Polytechnic State College, Cervantes Campus. Allow me to present my research titled Develop Module for the course Teaching Social Studies in the Intermediate Grades, its Development, Validation, and Effectiveness. The importance of course module is universally recognized by credible literatures because of its potential in improving the performance of learners. These promote independent learning and content discovery. However, because of its complex development, scarcity of such is felt in most schools around the world, especially the sudden change of learning modality caused by the COVID-19. As a matter of fact, social studies or araling panlipunan as a subject in the basic education has been labeled as a boring subject due to its conceptual nature. Another reason is teachers' ineffectiveness to teach the subject. This, among others, prompted the researcher to develop a course module that may train pre-service teachers become instructionally competent. In so doing, the researcher believes he could help improve the performance of learners and eventually love the subject. Cognizant of all assumptions that the academic literature undergirds in the manuscript regarding the educational advantages of course modules to teachers and students, and the critical challenges that teachers face relative to its insufficiency, prompted the researcher to scientifically develop a flexible, framework-based and validated course module for the subject teaching social studies in the intermediate grades, geography, and culture. This is to equip pre-service teachers with the pedagogical concepts of geography and culture through independent and discovery learning. The following are the objectives of the study. Number 1. Develop a framework for the scientific development of the course module. Number 2. Scientifically develop a course module for the teaching social studies in the intermediate grades based on the framework developed. Number 3. Determine the level of content validity of the course module in terms of objectives, concepts, principles, directions, practical exercises, and topics. Number 4. Determine the level of acceptability of the course module in terms of clarity, usefulness, sustainability, adequacy, language, style, format, illustrations, and presentations. Number 5. Determine the overall quality of the course module. Number 6. Determine the level of performance of the students before and after letting them use the course modules. Number 7. Determine if there is a significant difference between levels of performance of students before and after exposing them to the course module. And finally, determine the effectiveness of the developed course module. The study commenced by critically assessing documents for the framework of the course module. The documents or literatures that hurdled the criteria were exhaustively reviewed. The salient elements, features, and contents extracted from the reviewed literature or documents were highlighted and carefully condensed to establish the course module's framework. Each element was carefully discussed based on how they are used in the output. Using the developed framework, the prototype of the course module was designed and developed. It underwent thorough evaluation, hence several revisions followed. Then, the output was subjected to validation by identified experts. Their suggestions and recommendations were carefully incorporated following the test of its effectiveness. Careful analysis on the documents or literatures that hurdled the criteria, this framework was developed as the basis in developing the course module. In terms of its content, the following were found relevant. The first, or the chapter 1, it consists the framework or the overview of the teaching of Araling Panlipunan in the elementary grades. Chapter 2 is on lesson planning. Chapter 3, teaching the selected topics in geography through graphic organizers. And the last one, we have teaching the selected topics in culture through interactive strategies. Generally, the course module is braced with the K-12 concepts, including the inquiry-based approach, reflective learning, constructivist approach, integrative approach, and collaborative approach. The output of the course module or the outcomes of the course module include demonstration teaching and a profile of available cultural resources in the community. As projected in the table, the course module is excellent in terms of its validity along intended learning outcomes, concepts and principles, directions or instructions, practical exercises, and topics as manifested by the overall mean of 4.81 described as excellent. This means that the content of the developed course module goes beyond the standard of a practical course module. Hence, this could be utilized by the Bachelor of Elementary Education student. In terms of its level of acceptability, it is evident from the table that the developed course module is excellent as manifested by its overall mean of 4.55. This means that it exceeded the standard of a practical course module. It possesses clear ideas, suitable or relevant information, accurate grammar and style, in-place illustrations, and well-organized presentation. These are indications of highly acceptable course module for Bachelor of Elementary Education students. In terms of the performance of students before and after exposing them to course module, it is evident in the table that the pretest or the performance of the students in the pretest is described as good with a mean score of 35.80. This means that the learners are moderately knowledgeable about the concepts of the subject. This implies that students have background knowledge, though it is relatively low, of some concepts of social studies. This level of performance indicates the need for an intervention like the course module, whose basis is a framework to escalate their performance. According to Corpus and Salandan in 2015, the use of instructional materials that are scientifically developed, like the course module, may help improve students' achievement. The study of Olainica 2016 proves the claim, saying students who were taught with instructional materials perform better than those taught without. Meanwhile, the level of performance of students in the post-test matured to 68.92 or excellent. This means that the developed course module immensely helped the students in the acquisition of both pedagogical and conceptual knowledge during the semester. Even without the teachers in their sight, the course module alone guided them to meet the competency of the course. The table presents the effect of the course module on learners' level of performance. The table shows that the developed course module has a medium-size effect, as manifested by its cohesive value of 6.42. This means that the course module is practical and has a significant impact on the performance of learners. This further implies that the utilization of sound developed course modules when teaching is strongly encouraged along with other teaching strategies. Based on the findings of the study, the paper recommends that the developed framework may serve as a keystone of other frameworks of course modules for other subject areas. Further studies may be conducted to refine or widen the coverage of the established framework by exploring other significant documents or theories that this endeavor failed to consider. Although the course module is of high quality as evaluated by identified expert, it is still good to submit this for further evaluation by the IMEC Committee on Evaluation of the College for their comments and suggestions and for the issuance of a certificate of utilization in the system-wide. The utilization of well-designed and well-developed course module to deliver instruction may be considered by the college even if the learning modality returns to traditional face-to-face classes. Finally, the developed course module may be utilized by instructors in teaching the course. Further studies to test its effectiveness on another set of respondents are needed to ascertain the endeavor's findings. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, I am Jeremy Sanchez of ISPSC Cervantes Campus, Cervantes, Ilocos, Philippines.
You're welcome, Mr. Sanchez. Thank you very much for your recorded presentation. So we move to the Q&A session. Maybe one of you, please, other presenters or maybe participant, give Mr. Sanchez questions. Any questions, guys? Not yet. Okay, so Mr. Sanchez, it would be me to ask you the questions. Your connection is
Yes,
stable,
ma'am.
Mr. Or maybe
Yeah.
something different.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So you can hear me clearly?
Yes, ma'am. Very audible.
Okay. Yes, thank you. So my question is, from your data analysis, you use the mean score to get the condition conclusion,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So my
Yes, ma'am.
question is, why you use the mean score to get a conclusion, but why not use modus score? You know modus, right? Mean,
Yes,
median,
ma'am. Yes.
modus. Yeah.
Actually, I use the average scores in interpreting the level of the performance of the learners. Perhaps it's just
Yeah.
a mistake that I placed their mean, but actually I use the average score to determine the level of their performance in the pre-test and in the post-test, ma'am.
Oh, so you not use the modus score in this research. So you just use the mean score, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Maybe that's enough. Thank you very much to Mr. Jeremy G. Sanchez for your presentation, for your answer. But maybe before we continue to the next agenda, another presenters or participants, some questions maybe. Still no. Okay. Yeah. Okay. To all the presenters and participants, maybe it's all of the presenters that attend in the meeting is give their presentation, but we still have two videos from our presenters too. It's going to be from Mr. Seferino G. Alfiento and also from Mr. Leonard C. But both of them is not in this meeting, but it's okay. We would like to play the video, right? So for the first is going to be from Mr. Seferino G. Alfiento with the title Practices of Good Governance in the Selected Local Government Units of Ilocos Sur. For all the presenters and participants, please give your attention to this recorded presentation. Okay, before we play the video, I would like to remind all of the presenters, please fill the attendance list and also fill the evaluation questionnaire. In the chat column, we also give you the link so we can click the link and fill the two kind of information. For the first is about the presentations or the attendance list, and the second one is about the evaluation questionnaire. Udah? Okay. Yes, please.
Pleasant day to each and every one of us. Our study is entitled The Internet Connectivity in the 2nd District of Ilocos Sur. Authors, Severino G. Albiento and yours truly, Ramil T. Batin. For the information of the body, Ilocos Sur is divided into two districts, District 1 and District 2. District 2 is comprises of 1 city and 2 municipalities. City of Candon is the only city in the 2nd district where NLPSC lies. We conducted this study because of flexible learning brought by COVID-19 pandemic. Since soft copy of modules will be given to our stakeholders through internet, it's very important to study internet connectivity because majority of our students are from 2nd district of Ilocos Sur. The statement of the problems. This study aimed to find out the internet connectivity in the 2nd district of Ilocos Sur. Specifically, it sought to find an answer to the following questions. Number 1, what are the existing internet service provider (ISP) in the 2nd district of Ilocos Sur? Number 2, what is the status of internet connection in terms of letter A, bandwidth, letter B, ICT equipment? Number 3, what are the initiatives of the LGU in upgrading their current internet connections? Methodology. We have our research design. The descriptive and analytic method of research was used in this study, wherein a guided questionnaire and interview was the major instrument in the gathering of data. Research instrument. The researchers formulated questionnaire, a structured interview, which aimed at eliciting information from the respondents. Respondent of the study. The respondents of this study were the LGU officials, head, and staff of IT department in the 2nd district of Ilocos Sur. Findings of the study. The internet provider ISP in the 2nd district of Ilocos Sur. We have the first column, the city or municipalities, and the second column are the internet service provider or ISP. For Sogpon, ISP is Globe. For Alilem and Tagudin, we have Globe and Smart. For municipalities of Santa Cruz, Santa Lucia, Candon City, and Galimuyod, we have their internet service provider Globe, Smart, Converge for selected barangays. For the municipality of Salcedo, Globe and Smart. For Quirino, we have Smart. For Gregorio del Pilar, we have Globe and Smart. And for Sigay, we have Globe. Cervantes, we have Globe and Smart. Santiago, San Esteban, Banayoyo, we have Globe, Smart, and Converge. For Lidlida, we have Globe and Smart. For San Emilio and Santa Maria, we have Globe, Smart, and Converge for selected barangay. For Burgos, we have Globe and Smart. For municipality of Narbacan and Santa, we have Globe, Smart, and Converge for selected barangays. The status of internet connection in terms of bandwidth. We have the municipalities with 1 to 2 Mbps or megabits per seconds. We have here Sigay, Sugpon, Gregorio del Pilar, Quirino, Alilem, Cervantes, Salcedo, Suyo, Lidlida, San Emilio, and Nagbukel. We have also here the status of internet connection whose speed is more than 1 to 2 megabits per second. We have Tagudin, Santa Cruz, Santa Lucia, Candon City, Galimuyod, Santiago, San Esteban, Santa Maria, Burgos, Narbacan, Santa, and Banayoyo. The ICT equipment are smartphones and laptop computers. These are the initiative of LGU in upgrading their current internet connectivity. All of the respondent mentions that they have continuing program to upgrade their respective LGUs. They are continuously talking with the provincial and some private companies on how to improve their internet connections so as to provide more efficient public service. We have here the findings. 7 LGU in the 2nd District of Ilocos Sur are using Globe Smart as their internet providers. 12 LGU are using Globe, Smart, and Converge for their internet providers. 2 municipalities are using Globe, and 1 is using Smart provider. Conclusion, most of the internet providers in the LGUs are Globe, Smart, and Converge. Majority of the municipalities in the 2nd District of Ilocos Sur have internet connection and enjoy a bandwidth with an average around 1 to 2 Mbps. Smartphones and laptop computers are used as their gadget, and LGU are continuously talking with the provincial and some private companies on how to improve their internet connections so as to provide more efficient public service. Recommendations: provision of broadbands for residents, especially the students in the LGU of Ilocos Sur, provision of laptop or other gadgets for learning in every barangay for students, provision of free Wi-Fi hotspot to certain places, and upgrade of internet connectivity to every city or municipality in the 2nd District of Ilocos Sur. Terima kasih.
Sama-sama to Mr. Severino J. Alfiento for sending us your recorded presentation, but maybe you are not in, it's okay. So our last recorded video going to be to Mr. Leonard C. about competence in teaching tasks on non-education part-time faculty in Ilocos Sur Polytechnic State College. Please play the videos.
Good day, everyone. I have the honor to present to you our research output entitled Competence in Teaching Tasks of Non-Education Part-Time Faculty in Ilocos Sur Polytechnic State College, and I'm Leonard C. Manuel, your humble presenter. Higher education institutions hold the most significant commitment to providing holistic learning opportunities, particularly academic learning to the students. Relatively, quality instruction in higher education for this matter should be constant and transparent to satisfy the call for excellence among the students. Since higher education is multidisciplinary, most of the hired faculty are professionals who might have no background in teaching. Because of their expertise, the part-time instructors are hired and become a fundamental feature in the realization of the goals of the college. Now, the Ilocos Sur Polytechnic State College has continuously accommodating part-time instructors who have no background in teaching to teach the highly specialized subjects. This study hopes to contribute for the furtherance of the instructional competence among the part-time instructors and basis for strategizing measures to improve the quality of instruction in the higher level learning. Now, the study sought to answer the following research questions. What is the profile of the non-education faculty in ISPSC in terms of age, sex, educational attainment, line of service as part-time instructor, and formal and informal training activities? What is the competence level on the teaching tasks along instructional preparations, instructional delivery, assessment and feedbacking, and psychosocial support? Is there a significant relationship between profile and teaching task competence? And what validated teaching enhancement program can be developed? So this study used the descriptive correlative design, and the non-education instructors who held a part-time or contractual employment status at the Ilocos Sur Polytechnic State College were selected as the respondents of this study. And the descriptive survey questionnaire were utilized to gather the data from the respondents. And frequency count and percentage, weighted mean, and Pearson R correlation were also utilized to analyze the gathered data. So on the profile of the non-education part-time instructors, most of the part-time instructors were in their late 20s, between the age of 26 to 30. Considering this age range, the non-part-time instructors prefer to have professional advancement and experiences involving teaching in the academy. On sex, the study revealed that there is more significant number of men engaged in part-time instruction, considering that they are non-education graduates and more inclined to highly technical skills such as in agriculture and information technology. And on educational attainment, the part-time instructors were at least holders of baccalaureate degree with master's units, while some had already earned their master's degree. On the number of years as part-time instructors, some of them have rendered at least 1 year in the basic teaching service. The result critically shows that though the part-time instructors are experts in a particular discipline, they may not have much teaching experience and faculty development opportunities. So, along formal and informal training activities, this study revealed that the part-time instructors take the initiatives to deliberately advance through the different professional development activities, focusing on improving their teaching competence. Majority of the part-time instructors attend the virtual or face-to-face seminars, trainings, workshops, because these were often available with free of cost. In terms of the level of competence in teaching tasks along instructional preparation, this study revealed that non-education part-time faculty have high competence level in instructional preparations. This finding shows that they have demonstrated substantial efficiency in terms of instructional preparations. Considering their individual tasks, the result indicates that the part-time instructors usually review lectures and explore related facts of the lessons before teaching, which demonstrates their ability to efficiently organize their thoughts through their initiatives to update their content knowledge. Along instructional delivery, the study recorded a high competence level among the part-time instructors in carrying out the standard instructional delivery. This finding means that they possess the knowledge and skills necessary to provide effective transfer of learning to the students and for a substantial mastery of the content knowledge. On the assessment and feedbacking, it shows that the level of competence in assessment and feedbacking is high, which means that the non-education part-time instructors provide learning activities for the students to track the students' progress and adjust instructional accordingly and immediately. However, the number showed a quite alarming rate on the lack of dynamism of the non-education part-time instructors in terms of employing a variety of assessment techniques in their classes, which garnered 3.38 mean score. This further implies that the non-education part-time instructors expect more exposure to learn the different assessment techniques to be employed in their classes. And along the psychosocial support, it revealed that the level of competence in psychosocial support is very high, which means that the part-time instructors can provide a strong practical and consistent support to their students. This finding suggests that part-time instructors should continually use this to their advantage and encourage more students to do better academically and to help them grow as a person. And in terms of the relationship between profile of the respondents and teaching task competence, the instructional preparation, instructional delivery, assessment and feedbacking, and psychosocial are significantly correlated to the formal training. This finding implies that the need of the instruction part-time instructors to pursue professional learning opportunities for a higher extent of skills and competence development in the areas of teaching. Furthermore, the result also shows that educational attainment is significantly correlated to instructional delivery, which indicates that the part-time instructors should engage in a higher level of professional growth to exhibit more competence in teaching. This finding further suggests that the college must encourage the part-time instructors to expand their pedagogical knowledge and substantially support their efforts in instructional learning to increase their performance in teaching. And the output of this study is a faculty to faculty mentoring and coaching program, which is anchored to the three teaching development areas: instructional design, instructional methods, and assessment techniques and assessment tools. As shown here in the table, all the criteria garnered very valid rating with the average mean score of 4.70, interpreted also as very valid. So this finding implies that the face-to-face mentoring and coaching program as the output of the study is highly suitable and applicable to help the non-education part-time instructors to develop their teaching competencies along with the key priority areas. And that's all. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome to maybe this is Miss Maria Teresa or Jessie. We don't know, but thank you very much for the 10 number 10 presenters. Okay, to all the presenters and participants, it's all. But I want to make sure that all of you, Mr. Anthony, Mrs. Barayuga, Mr. Sanchez, and Mrs. Mariati, have already filled the attendance list and already filled the evaluation questionnaire. Are
Yes,
you?
I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Where is Mr. Anthony? Wow. Yes, Mr. Anthony. You have already filled the attendance list, right? I hope so. So Alhamdulillah, all the attendance presenters has presented the paper. So before we close the season, please open the camera for all the presenters and participants, and we will take a picture. Please turn your camera on. Thank you, Mr. Miss Mariati. To all my students too, please turn on your camera. Tolong buka kameranya untuk mahasiswa saya semuanya. Oke, ada yang bangun tidur di ruang tamu. Sungguh niat sekali Anda. Ya, tidak apa-apa. Oke, silakan. Please, all of the students, turn on the camera. Okay. We would like to wait for Mr. Anthony and Mr. Sanchez and also Mrs. Prayuga. Yes, I see you, Mr. Sanchez. Thank you. Mr. Anthony, yes, you're back. Mr. Anthony, you have
Thank you very much.
already filled the attendance list, right? The attendance list.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's also you have to fill the evaluation questionnaire before you leave this meeting. Mas Lukman, Mas Aditya Yustiar, Mas Fajar, please turn on the camera. Okay, in count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Take a picture. Once again, let's give your best smile here. Okay, in count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Sudah? Okay. So thank you very much for this picture to all the presenters and all the participants. So this concludes the session today. I'm Wildanul Isnaini as a moderator, and also my co-moderator, Rizky Alfian, will be said thank you very much for your participation. And from this agenda, we hope all of the presenters and participants get the knowledge enhancement. I hope we can meet again in the other occasion and see you on the next conference. So all the presenters, you can leave this room and back to the main room for the next agenda. Bye-bye. Good afternoon all. Thank you very much for your participation. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, Mr. Anthony.